Well, thank you for the introduction and inviting me to share the steps we can take around our home to protect ourselves. We appreciate Councilwoman Rodriguez's efforts, as well as Eve Sinclair, helping us be here tonight to present to you and ensure our foothill communities have the tools we need to be as safe as we can. We have 2 videos and we'll get started right away with the first one now. This virtual tour will give you a sense of the vulnerabilities architecture presents in our urban wildland interface communities. This property is nestled into the top of a steep slope and at the top of a narrow, winding street in our beautiful community of Sunland-Tujunga. It is subject to dual dangers: fast uphill moving fire and inhibited fire department response. Our goal in hardening this home is not only to protect it and its occupants, but the firefighters who come to save it. As we get started, it will be useful to understand that there are 3 ways fires start: heat, flames, and embers. For a home, embers are the greatest risk. They can fly on the wind for miles, and they will also bounce and roll along hard surfaces like a driveway or patio. Because of the way embers travel, they can skip over landscapes and wild spaces, moving directly from the dry tinder of one structure to another. For this reason, we harden homes first. Then we look to add proactive elements with the adjacent landscape. As we tour, we will follow that process, address the home's vulnerabilities, then discuss foliage. Let's take an ember's point of view and look at this structure's strengths and vulnerabilities. Where can embers collect, smolder, and ignite? Let's start at the top. The tile roof here qualifies as a Class A roof, the most protective and quite firewise. While the shape of the tiles offer points where embers can collect, the material offers embers no tinder to ignite. There is, however, vulnerability at its edges. If embers reach the gutters, they can use any dry leaves as tinder to build heat enough to ignite the roof. To protect against this, every lineal foot of gutter can be covered with fine wire mesh. Not only does this mitigate fire danger, it improves gutter performance during the rainy season. The same fine wire mesh can also be used to seal attic and basement vents too. We're going to move to the next video as we head down to the patio below. Here on the patio, wrapped in shady greenery and a gorgeous view of the Angeles forest, we can see the stucco siding on the back of the home's exterior. Properly installed, it can add valuable time to resisting flames. In contrast here, the sliding glass doors and windows present the easiest means for fire to enter this home, as windows can allow embers entry to combustibles inside. The first protective action to take there is make sure they're all closed when fire is near, and most certainly upon evacuation. Now, deeper protection would come from dual or triple paned windows with metal frames, both of which better resist heat. Exterior rolling shutters and fine 16th-inch mesh window screens can also add protection. Now, below the sliding glass doors, you can see the brick patio is kept free of leaf litter. Now, I should note that open hardscape and gravel areas are not a simple solution. Bare, open, hardscape surfaces can clear the way for embers to roll and bounce toward a home or other ignition point. This space, however, is just enough defensible space the firefighters can work to defend this home. Now that we have addressed the vulnerabilities and strengths of the architecture, what else can we do to eliminate ignition points? Now, things we use every day can present the most danger. On this patio, this super cozy patio, there's charming artwork attached to the eaves and siding, a barbecue and heat lamp with propane tanks, chairs, cushions, and an umbrella. Dangers aren't limited to just what we're showing you here. It's what you don't see, like doormats, toys, wood piles, and tools, things we use every day. Embers can easily ignite these items and build enough strength to ignite the home. The simple solution? Store them when they're not in use. And if storage is detached, it should always be 5 to 10 feet away from the home in a fire-resistant structure. Storage not only removes ignition points, but it creates clear, defensible space around your home where firefighters can safely work. Now, on the other side of the patio is low-growing, heat-resistant, slope-protecting foliage. Most are drought-resilient natives. They hold their hydration, so they are not ready fuel. They are supported by smart irrigation, so they will become tinder only once fire is near and hot enough to dry them out. Getting any greenery to cover a slope is tough, let alone one this steep and made of bedrock. So we borrow from nature and integrate a combination of native species to optimize coverage and keep out the invasive grasses that become fine fuels. Here we have a dwarf coyote bush and native yucca. Both have deep, expansive root systems that will help retain this slope, even if they burn to the soil, unlike agaves, which can destabilize a slope like this during the rainy seasons. See how lush and green this is? And it's August. It's like this year-round. Now, as we travel to the top of this lush leafy slope to view our greatest protectors, it's the line of trees at the top of the property. Tree canopy can catch flying embers, giving firefighters time to extinguish any ignition points before they reach a home. While it's ideal to have native trees with dense canopies and heat-resistant leaves like the coast live oak, even a non-native expansive canopy like this is very protective. And another bonus with trees, the trunks, like the one on this elm tree. Now, you wouldn't throw this on any campfire and expect it to burn. No, it's too fat and too hydrated. It's gonna take a hot minute, literally, for that to become fuel. Now, as we head over to the other side of the property, notice how the plant material is well spaced and maintained to limit dry and dead material, leaving only hydrated foliage. Now, we're seeing one of the main dangers on the property, this wood fence that approaches the home. This provides fire the chance to travel to the home, building heat along the way. Ideally, this fence and gate would be replaced with another material, like a fire-resistant ipe wood. Or, in contrast to the fence, this hedge, while not native, is living, well-maintained, and well-hydrated, and at a bit of distance from the home, it presents less danger. Let's take in the lush leafy view here. To the far side of the property, it's gorgeous, green, and that's vital, and it's year-round. The chaparral foliage we see here is the same foliage that dominates California's wild spaces and is LA's distinctive treasure. Think it poses a danger? The greatest dangers we see here are from the wooden storage structure, the fences and swing set, some of the garden art. These are dry tinder and ready to burn. The gravel patio and paths put space between these flammable structures and provide many fire breaks throughout the space. The foliage blocks embers from rolling toward the house or between structures, well hydrated and free of any dead material. The foliage would need to dry out before it could burn. Deep organic wood chip mulch supports foliage and soil hydration, as does smart irrigation that waters plants at the root and can be controlled from off-site. The metal and glass artwork, like the cute little frogs, present no dangers. So you can see Firewise gardening strategies can actually leave us with the kind of lush, leafy, shady landscapes we most enjoy. And that's it. Once we identify and address the home's vulnerabilities to flying embers directly, then we can consider how the landscape can be designed, built, and maintained to bolster its fire safety. Luckily, this requires no sacrifice. In fact, the opposite. The strategies and foliage ideal for accomplishing that task can give our properties a very distinctive LA beauty. If you're interested in more tours and information, we have a Firewise panel discussion at the Municipal Green Building Conference and Expo Saturday, August 22nd. It is a part of the local U.S. Green Building Council's ongoing fire education efforts. In the meantime, we do have resources to build on this conversation, which you can find on formla.com. You'll find the plant palette used on this site, a yearly maintenance checklist, critical, steps to take when you believe you may receive evacuation orders. Also, a more strategic long-term set of design actions that will help create a protective environment for your home. We hope this conversation and the resources we provided empower you to protect yourself and earn the peace of mind we are all craving nowadays. And thank you again to the Council Office for letting us help the community work towards being safer.